I guess now it's mystery guest for the next hour here. So
that's correct. We got number one on the line.
All right, and sign in, please.
Hi, Steve. I want to wish you a happy 10th anniversary. About 6 years ago, I sat in on one of your play-by-play classes at Penn State. So hopefully that gives it away.
Well, first of all, the first three words you said, Kenny, gave it away. There's only one voice, right? I know you're getting ready to do the Olympics, but thanks so much. And, yeah, you did. As a matter of fact, your daughter, I think, was the one that was observing at that time. It was great to have you there.
She was, and I was happy to tag along.
Yeah, it was great to have you there. I should have had you teach the thing. They would have learned a lot more.
I don't know about that.
I have to ask you now, with this being out of Stanford, that you'll have to do Olympic coverage, when you've had that spot, and I've had to do that for basketball, amazingly not for football, but for basketball I had to do it last year. What's that like for you calling it when you're doing it off monitors?
Well, over the last 2 years, I've had to do many, many hockey games off monitors, probably around 50 over the last couple of years. Not as many basketball games, maybe 10 or 15 last year. As you know, it is a lot different. I think you could see about 85% of what you would normally see if you were in the arena. As I'm sure you would agree, you would much rather be in the arena. But if we have to do it this way, I don't think it's as bad as most of us expected. In hockey, for example, you might miss some of the penalties being called back behind the play. You may not see when the goaltender's pulled initially. But for the most part, you have a really good view of the game. Now, I did work yesterday, the U.S.-Finland women's game, and I'm not sure if you saw any of the game or your listeners at all, but the jersey numbers were a little bit challenging. The United States had white jerseys with white numbers outlined by a little bit of blue. We got used to it, as the game moves along. The other thing is we don't have the opportunity to watch warm-ups, which is when normally you get acclimated with the jerseys, with the numbers. Canada, I didn't work their game 2 nights ago, but I thought John Walton did a terrific job, even though they had dark jerseys with red numbers. So I think that's the biggest challenge. Some of the teams, depending on the jerseys they're wearing in a particular game, definitely a little bit different than if you were actually in the arena.
Do you have multiple monitors in front of you, or do you have a monitor with multiple views?
It's basically a monitor with a single view.
Okay, gotcha.
It's the game camera. We take the world feed from Beijing in this case. We do have a second monitor, which is for graphics and different packages that we might show. But as far as calling the game, it's basically one monitor and one view, and it's pretty much the same thing that the viewers are seeing at home. But I thought overall it went very well yesterday. It was a nice win for the U.S. Unfortunately, they lost one of their top forwards, Brianna Decker, to a leg injury. And they'll play the Russian Olympic Committee team tomorrow and then Switzerland on Sunday. So looking forward to those next couple of games.
Because I know when I did basketball, we had the option of one view like you, or I could switch it over and I could get 4 screens on one monitor. That's why I asked the question, because we actually had those options. When I worked the Knicks games, road games last season off the monitor with Walt Clyde Frazier, we had a huge monitor at MSG Network at the studio. It was basically the size of the entire wall to watch the game. And then we did have a second monitor for those games with sort of an overall view of the court, what they would call the All-22 in football. Right.
Probably didn't use it too often, but I would glance over once in a while. But we actually called the game off a huge monitor, which was basically the feed that the folks would see at home watching the game.
Because how this is being done, does that still allow you now to do your other work during the Olympics? Can you still do a TNT hockey game if you want, and so forth?
A little bit, yes. I will sneak away to work a TNT game next Wednesday in Dallas. The Turner folks were nice enough to allow me to miss a game the following week in order to work the women's gold medal hockey game. So it'll be a combination of both. And one Knicks game as well out of the studio on February 12th during the Olympics. So that obviously would not be the case if we were in Beijing.
And for you, what's the moving over to Turner? Now Eddie's there, obviously. What's it been like moving over to Turner and how they approach hockey?
It's been great. Eddie and Keith Jones, who I worked with for many years.
Yep.
I've known Jonesy for about 30 years since our days together in the American Hockey League. And a lot of the production people are folks that I've worked with for many years as well. So from that standpoint, it's been great. I love what Turner's done with the pregame show, with the personalities, whether it's Wayne Gretzky or Paul Bissonnette, Anson Carter, and Rick Tocchet, and host Liam McHugh, who does a terrific job. And they're definitely trying new things, interviewing players on the ice during pregame warm-ups, but doing the interview from the studio. So all of the guys get to ask a question, some of the postgame interviews they've done. So it's been a lot of fun.
Hey, thanks so much for doing this. This was really, really nice. With 1,000 things going on, you took the time to do this. That was really cool. Thanks so much, and tell Benny Boma I said hi.
I will. It's a big month for him. He's Mr. Big Event with the Pro Bowl, the NHL All-Star Game, the Olympics, the Super Bowl. So he's all over North America. I hear you're heading out to Wisconsin later today?
Yep, Wisconsin later today. Got a game tomorrow at 6, then back here on Tuesday for a home game, and then back to Minnesota next week.
All right, well, enjoy Madison. I was just there last week. My daughter's a freshman there.
So
cool. I've spent a lot of time there over the last couple of months. But happy 10th anniversary, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again soon.
Can't wait. Ken, thanks so much, Kenny. Appreciate you very much.
Okay, thanks, Steve.